Welcome back to Kazakhstan and our grand adventure here within the vast Asian steppe. Last episode, we left the old capital of Almaty behind to deep dive into the Assy Plateau and live with the nomadic herds. Our goal now, though, is to spend the next few days completing the famous Almaty Golden Triangle tour route of Charyn Canyon, Candy Lake, and the Singing Dune. However, I don't want to hire a guide like everyone else. I want to do it solo. Maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew, but spending well over $100 per day plus expenses just to be carted about isn't my sort of thing. And as somewhat of a travel guide myself, I want to put my skills to the test. Do you need a guide? Consider me your guinea pig, because who knows how this will go. Oh, and I want to alter the route too. I don't want to go to Candy Lake because I have alpine lakes at home. So instead, we're going way off the beaten path yet again to visit the town of Jarkent right alongside the Chinese border to see its unique cultural fusion firsthand. Something far from my comfort zone, so sit back, relax, and enjoy near from home's Almaty Golden Triangle tour. It's gonna be wild. But first things first, we've got a long drive to Charyn Canyon ahead, and the weather doesn't look to be cooperating. An ominous start indeed. Worth including on any trip to Charyn Canyon is the Black Canyon. It's just like another 15 minutes down the road, super easy. It's a rather impromptu side of the road stall, a nice little parking lot, and this view. It's so beautiful and very different than Charyn Canyon itself, though I can't exactly say I'm gonna stick around for too long. It's really wet, but it's really pretty too. What do you think?
It's insane. I can see why they call it Black Rock Canyon. I've never seen anything this color in nature before.
That's true. It's so pretty. And honestly, the fact that it's so wet just makes the black so much deeper.
I was just thinking that. It's going to be fun to color correct. And I don't mean that sarcastically. I'm being sincere.
I'll tell you what, I am actually really loving this little stop. I'm glad we did it. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for doing all the driving again. And don't forget to explore the whole area. This is completely hidden. It's sunk below eye level. And on a day not like today, sitting there to have a little beer, I could do that. That would be all right. We're sharing one umbrella. That's why the camera's wet. And me. Unfortunately, this woolly jacket's not quite as waterproof as the woolly sheep it came from. It's not the most pleasant weather for a walk, but walking along the edge and just seeing just the severe drop of it all, and how on the other side it's just a complete picturesque plain. I mean, the river really did a number on the land here, cutting this massive canyon. So cool, so cool. That is so pretty. But all right, I'm wet. I'm going back to the car. As we arrived into Charyn Canyon itself, the rain continued to pour. Closing my eyes, I felt as if I were back in Britain, but no mind. Even if we never get to hike this glorious landscape, Charyn Canyon still has two wonderful roofs from which under we can explore. With a world-class restaurant and cute little tiny homes to stay in for the night, there will still be plenty for us to do besides hiking. Though between food and accommodation, I'll give you guys one guess where my sights are set first. This restaurant is so cool. I mean, everything about it is so aesthetic, it's so lovely. For my main, I've gone with the horse burger, which I mean, how could I not? However, we are starting very classically with bread, which perhaps is not the most exciting thing to talk about, but when you've got a hot, fresh bread roll in front of you, homemade butter, local honey, how can you not talk about it? You don't need me to explain bread and butter to you, but it's absolutely lovely. And everything here is just so aesthetic and so cool. I cannot wait for my main course. Yeah, here we go. It is wet. It's really good though. The burger is really quite pretty. There's a cheddar cheese in there as well, and the sauce itself is rather cheesy. I mean, the meat, being horse meat, is incredibly delicious, but frankly, if I didn't tell you that it was horse meat, I'm not convinced that you'd be able to figure it out. Balanced between all of the cheese and the vegetables and the little pickly things on here, it's kind of blended into a more complex flavor that's hard to pick out the kind of horsey gaminess that I've been experiencing so far. That being said though, it just tastes like a really, really good burger. Just a messy one. As we waited out the rain in this amazing restaurant, we were eventually gifted a spectacularly brief view of the gorgeous Charyn Canyon sunset. Just enough time to get this one shot before we needed to check in to our tiny homes for the night. I will forever lament not getting to explore this canyon due to the rain, but we do our best with the time we have. We only had one day. Okay, it is finally time for the room tour. Let's start with the boring stuff first, bathrooms. What I do like is there's a regular toilet, no more squatting for me. Lovely little rain shower. It's a great bathroom. Couldn't ask for more. However, what I am absolutely in love with is everything else. I mean, the hardwood floors are really cool. We've got one painted accent wall and then raw wood everywhere else. And the main room itself, oh, it's just a dream. Beautiful large bed. I always love going to cool little hotels in deserty regions because they have the best aesthetic. I don't know if you could tell, big fan of cream and orange.
And the mustard yellow.
Oh yeah.
How could you forget?
This is Camille's favorite color. The room itself is incredibly beautiful. However, this is the most important bit, right? You have a truly excellent view of the canyon. So yeah, I mean, I'm just feeling cozy. I'm feeling at home. This is a beautiful place to be.
Not only do we get to wake up to this, we also have this beautiful balcony space.
Yeah, the balcony space is really cool. And from the outside, just the spaces themselves is just very iconic looking right up on the hill.
Very YouTube. We stayed here. Arrow to weird looking Airbnb in the desert.
That could be the thumbnail of this video. We haven't decided yet.
Who am I referencing? Tell me in the comments below.
Overall, this is not a bad place to start our morning, just relaxing on the balcony. And if you have been keeping up with the series, I want to know your opinion in the comments below. Which room do you prefer more? We've got this one, and if you've watched the Assy Camp video, we have the shared dorms in Assy Camp and the safari tents. So far, which has been your favorite accommodation? Though Charyn Canyon was a whirlwind and emotional roller coaster, I have high hopes for the next stop, my alteration to the Golden Triangle, as today we drive forth to the Chinese border in search of Jarkent, a border town born of cultural fusion sitting between the redrawn lines of China and the old Russian Empire. Here, Kazakhs, Russians, Chinese, and the oft-ignored Uyghur people come together to form something new, something truly special. Welcome to the Jarkent Mosque, here naturally in the heart of the town of Jarkent, only 33 kilometers away from the Chinese border. You see, the border itself between these two countries back then, the Russian Empire and China, was redrawn in the 1800s that caused a little bit of a diaspora and that cultural mixing between what was Russia and what would become China. Now we have Jarkent. Here in this town live Russians, Uyghurs, Kazakhs, naturally, and a variety of other peoples that have all congregated right here. And no place represents this intense multiculturalism better than the Jarkent Mosque. I don't think anywhere else on earth you can find a mosque quite like this. because that looks a whole lot more like a Chinese pagoda to me. But don't be fooled, this building has layers. It was built over the course of a single summer, requiring multiple translators to help have everyone coordinate with each other, because naturally, they're all from different cultures and they all speak different languages. Throughout all of the impressive wood carving architecture, no nails were used at all. It was built on the ground and assembled in place immediately. So all the artwork was done first, and of course it has been renovated a little bit since then. How cool architecturally to know that all of these groups of people came together and made something so beautiful, so unique, and such an authentic fusion. I'm in love. How's filming going?
It's going really well. I'm having so much fun just looking at all the colors.
It's so pretty. It's so interesting.
Yeah. So I've never been to China, but you have. And all of the pictures you showed me, the buildings were a lot of black and red.
So true.
But here, I don't know, the colors are so pretty and tropical.
Colors are very tropical themed, though I think that's partly because they use so much green, which I think is the Islamic influence, because I didn't see a ton of green in China, and Islam is all about the green.
Yeah, definitely. It just looks very unique, very interesting with the green, the pink, the yellow, and all of the flower motifs. I've never seen anything like it, and I don't know if a lot of other stuff like this exists.
No, this very well might be the only place in the world with something quite like this.
Which definitely made it worth coming here.
Nice. During the Soviet era, of course, religious institutions, let's just say, weren't so popular, and so this building also became a granary, a barracks, and a private apartment until after the Soviet Union fell, when they turned it back into a museum of multiculturalism specifically grounded for this region, which is just amazing to see. And I almost missed this detail walking around the very front of the mosque, but they have these really interesting kind of stone carving faces. They almost have like a petroglyph vibe. I don't know too much about them. I've been really struggling in the museum to figure it out, but they are so good. I don't think the camera is going to be able to do them justice, but these faces look really cool. And of course, the inside is just as interesting as the out. Just look at how much the architecture style changed in 10 paces. It's really cool stuff. Unique places that I've been in quite a while, and we've been doing a lot of unique stuff the past couple of days, but this is, I'm really grateful to be here.
Yeah, that's cool. Very different kind of unique.
Very.
From the Assy Plateau.
Nothing like the Assy Plateau. Jarkent is amazing, and spoiler for my upcoming Grand Kazakhstan food tour, like and subscribe for that, the food was incredible too. I could not be happier with my decision to swap out the lakes with this truly unique cultural experience. But no matter how good it is, I didn't book a hotel room, so we aren't staying the night as much as I'd like to. Instead, it's time to hit the road once more on our way to the town of Kalinino, our gateway to the famous Singing Dune, and our last point on the Golden Triangle. And hey, maybe we'll take a pit stop or two on the way. It's gassing time. There is literally nowhere else. So this place is manned. There is somebody, a really nice woman in the casa. She told us it's fine. Oh, I think she's gonna come help us. Is a highway. Why is he here? So this next up is a little bit of a solo mission. Nobody else wanted to come and see this with me. Behind all the horses and the cows, you might notice what I'm walking over. I'm in the middle of this tiny town, middle of absolute nowhere. You're supposed to just drive around it if you follow Google Maps, but if you pay attention, you could see something truly magnificent. Come with me, like you have a choice. We have now found ourselves in the middle of a rather active train yard, but we're here for one reason only, to go up these blown out steps onto this pedestal to see this steam engine. It's a 1940s Soviet era steam engine. It was the most popular kind in the Soviet Union at the time. About 4,000 of these things were made. They were the real workhorses of that era. And it's massive. It's just probably the largest steam engine I've ever gotten to see. And to see it up close, to get to touch it, but also to know that it lives
Hello!
Oh, hello!
Hello!
Hey, it's not alone. I'm not the only train enthusiast. But man, to just think of it, to think of what this train has done, where it's been, and everything else, the stories it could tell, and it now sits a strange grave on this pedestal in the middle of absolutely nowhere at this tiny town, watching its modern counterparts go by. That is just insane to me. Also, the local teenagers hang out in the coal carriage. You gotta love that. What an absolute beauty. That's an amazing train. Fantastic pit stop over. I do need to return to the car before they leave without me. Good morning, everybody. Hope you slept well, and welcome to the hilariously princess-themed room here in Guest House Ardak. It's probably the best rated place to stay in the small town of Kalinino, or Bashi, depends on which language you're speaking, which is of course the entranceway to the Singing Dune and the Altan Emel National Park. Let me show you around because we arrived very late last night, so couldn't really film very much. Let's take a little tour. There's the princess room, of course, that we stayed in. We're traveling with two friends who stayed here on all the sofa beds. Just out in the hallway, we've got the toilet. Nice and not particularly squatty. And then some new friends that we made slept in that room there. This place can accommodate quite a few guests, which actually made it the most social experience we've had so far out in the wilderness of Kazakhstan. The whole place is actually a bit of a compound. Behind me, there's just a shared canteen dining area where you get to be social. And last night, it was hilarious. We walk right into the canteen for a late dinner. Everyone else is eating, and everyone is speaking German. It was beautiful. I've never felt more at home. So overall, I would say Guest House Ardak is the place to stay. I really enjoyed it, even if it was for just a simple whistle stop. But now it's 9 a.m. The visitors center to the national park is finally open. Let's go get our tickets to the park. Let's start driving to the dunes. That's what we're here for, right? All right, but now we have finally made it to the visitors center. Let's go inside, let's get our tickets. We're getting to that dune. So that ended up being a surprisingly formal endeavor. You have to pay a fee per car and then per person. They need your passport, they need the license number, they write it all down, and in return, you get a very cool paper map and a really nice certificate. But now with all of that cleared away, money paid, our car registered, they know where we are, I guess it's time to venture out to the dune. Oh, and everyone was in military outfits as well, so don't be surprised by that. It was a strange process.
Sir, let us pass.
I've never really been in a remote desert environment quite like this. Oh, there he is! That's my little buddy! Yes! That's perfect, perfect footage. We got him, we got him. You do have to really watch where you're stepping though. You'll fall in the hole. But you can see him right over there. Oh, he's so cute. He's the brave one, looking out for everybody else. We can't stop every 5 minutes for animals though. We're here for dunes. All right, just one more stop, I promise. We need to give our forms over to the guard in front of the gate who will actually let us through. And there is just the world's most adorable puppy. Oh, hello. All right, paper's handy. Let's go.
Dune over there?
Oh yeah, there's just that little bit of yellow right over the hill. Oh, yeah. That looks so cool. All right, we have finally, at last, made it to the sand dunes, and they look incredible. Do they know how to frame an entrance all wide? I mean, just look at it. It's so cool. I have never been to a dune before. I don't think you have either.
Oh, this is my first dune.
Frankly, it's overwhelming. It's just so pretty. Oh, so happy to be here. I'm a little daunted by hiking all the way up it, but you just have to, right?
Yep. I mean, we can try.
We can try. Look at the lizard! Right there's a really cool lizard. Oh, he's really pretty. Look at him. Like, don't want to spook him, but damn, that lizard's really cool looking. What a strange little guy. Anyway, lizard break over. Climbing the dune is a little bit daunting. I mean, nothing will make you just really appreciate solid ground more than slippy sand. Kazakhstan is just genuinely stunning, and to have so much right next to Almaty that I think is rather accessible for people to get to. I think people are really sleeping on Kazakhstan and Almaty, but we'll talk more about guides and how you can get out here a little bit later. First, I need to do some exercise, deep breath, get to the top of this dune. This is hard work. A lot of people recommend that you do it barefoot. However, we're here getting close to noon and the sand is starting to get really hot. So I don't super want to risk it myself. You might want to bring a face covering if it's really windy, which it usually is, because the wind is what stacks the sand. What are you doing?
Dune stepping to avoid the worms of Arrakis.
I think there's more water out here than on Arrakis. I am so out of breath. It is so tricky and it's so windy that when I keep taking deep breaths, I'm pretty sure I'm swallowing sand. But the view, man, just take a look. Like, it's incredible. It was a ridge hike in the purest sense of the word, because you are literally straddling the pinnacle of the dune, the wind whipping up one side and falling over the other, and you're right on that razor's edge. It is crazy. Are you also just made of sand?
Yeah, we put a ton of sunscreen on before.
Rookie mistake. You do need sunscreen. Do not put it on right before you start going up the dune. I'm gonna bask in this sand and then start the descent in a little bit. Oh, what a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky.
Ey
Quite literally. I think I'm going to fall over. I would actually say don't follow too close behind. I think you need to let the sand settle behind me. I think if you step into my moving sand, you're moving with it. It's a little entertaining. And as you know, my vertigo fucking hates it. All right, but we're on our way back down now. Oh wee, what an adventure Kazakhstan's been so far. There is one other way to get down though, other than dune stepping. No, I need more feeling. Are you okay? It's actually not that scary. Just flip over onto your back. Huh? Are you falling? Oh, I cannot come up there to get you. You got this. Just roll over. Flip, Camille, flip. Oh, you can feel it. Oh my God. This is crazy. Ah, up too fast. Coming in hot. Holy shit. That was so cool. Oh, I'm only sand now. Camille hasn't made it very far. Oh my God, that was so much fun. The best part though, besides having fun, is that now the Singing Dune finally makes sense. So they say when the wind whips it just right, the whole kind of dune itself resonates and makes this hum. I wasn't lucky enough to hear that, even though it's windy enough, but when you start running down it, you create those vibrations yourself. I swear you can feel it vibrating in your feet. It gets a little harder and you get the dune to sing. I was exhilarated, that was so much fun. And now we need to trek back to the car. We're in the middle of nowhere. After all that, should we do a boot reveal? 3, 2, 1. Oh! Oh, man. This Kazakh road trip, our journey from Almaty, the altered Golden Triangle, has been incredible, full of more ups and downs than I could have ever imagined. With our previous video on the Assy Plateau, off-roading for hours through the Turgan Gorge and remote plains, getting stuck in the dark, visiting Charyn Canyon, getting rained out but still eating delicious food, and checking out that lovely accommodation, not to mention Jarkent and its inspiring mosque, guesthouse Ardak with its princess room, and our shockingly formal entrance certificate to the Dunes National Park. We've accomplished so much on this trip together entirely by our own hand, planning each excursion and rendezvous personally via WhatsApp, and with Camille behind the wheel, we've been getting there safe and sound time after time. This amazing country has pushed our limits to new extremes. Now then, though, as kind of this trip is drawing to a conclusion, as we walk back to the parking lot and prepare for our return journey, after all the unknowns are finally known, I think I finally feel comfortable talking about guides. Because, well, I wanted to kind of reserve my judgment until the very end, but I think I'm ready now to explain to you and give you my tips and advice for when you should or should not use a guide in Kazakhstan, at least for the Golden Triangle things we've experienced so far outside of Almaty.
Because this has actually been the most difficult to research vacation we have ever been on.
By a mile.
So we've been reading a lot of blogs and watching a lot of vlogs, and they just haven't been incredibly helpful because once again, I find myself just not super satisfied with the quality. I find that a lot of people either underplay how difficult things are or overplay how it is, and just don't give you the facts as to how comfortable or uncomfortable you might be based on the circumstances.
Guides are very expensive in Kazakhstan, in Almaty. We're talking 100 euros a day, if not more, and it adds up really quickly. And yes, you do get transportation, and maybe they throw in a bit of food, but they also will upcharge you a little bit on all of the places you're staying. And frankly, do you even need them? What are they providing for you? For Charyn Canyon and for the Singing Dune, frankly, I see little reason to have a guide. I was able to get the guest house Ardak by WhatsApp, and they were so lovely, so accommodating. And speaking to the Germans last night over dinner, they asked us, as Germans are wont to do, and I love you guys for your frankness, you know that. They said, how much are you paying per night? We said we're paying 6,000 tenge per night, and they did not look happy. Now, they had a guide, they had someone to drive them, but on the roads to the Singing Dune, it's pretty good. On the roads to Charyn Canyon, they're pretty fantastic.
It's perfect. I was completely happy. It felt like driving in the United States to a degree.
No problems at all. So in that way, I think they feel, if I may speak for them a little bit based off their facial expression, that they weren't getting their money's worth. So at the end of the day, I haven't felt held back at all by not having a guide, but I would also never begrudge any of you out there for getting one. What you need to just kind of dial in is your comfort level. I hope, however, though, our videos show you the reality so that you can determine your comfort level in a way that I frankly just don't find other people doing that much.
Yeah, we really try to show a diverse amount of footage that we feel really represents what the experience will look like. We really try to avoid teleporting from place to place to place. We try to show the easiest parts and the hardest parts and everything in between.
So to that end, I think that actually does draw the video to a conclusion. All the roads we're taking are roads I've already shown you. There's nothing else particularly special to go on other than returning to Almaty and the adventure continuing up to Astana for the World Nomad Games. So if that sounds interesting, and if you appreciate what we're trying to do here, support us. Give us a tip if you think we've earned it, like the video. Frankly, you should maybe consider subscribing and watching everything else we've ever done, but most important, share it with your friends. Content like this isn't the most algorithmically friendly. There's a reason people deceive. It pays better. So help us help you by sharing us with your friends and growing the channel the old-fashioned way. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, wherever that might be.